2013-2014 to David McKenney. Now please watch this short video of Dave.
Well, I kind of grew up in a Cub Scout pack and went through that and got my reloads. And just about the day I turned 11, I showed up at Troop 54 ready to go. And it was kind of an awesome experience because the Scoutmaster was a big former World War II paratrooper, about 6'4", very square leg. Senior patrol leader was an old friend of ours, Buck Stitt, way above 6 feet then. And first thing they did is make us stand in ranks and stand at attention and grade us and start teaching us how to drill. Later I figured out that wasn't such a bad idea. Bird Adams was our camp then, and Bird Adams was in Vinings. It seemed like a long way out of town then, but it was relatively convenient. And I went to Bird Adams for summer camp every summer when I was a scout. But then I was a patrol leader, and I liked that. I was always scared of getting people in trouble anyway. So later on, became senior patrol leader of a different troop and assistant scoutmaster in 2 troops. So yeah, I kind of liked to do that. I went to GMA. I was a day student at GMA and got more in the military. And while I was there, I needed a scholarship to go to college. And I got a full ride at Navy ROTC scholarship to Tech. So that was an important part of tying it all together. I think you realize down the road that the Scout Law and oath impact your approach to life. You know? I'll get a chance to speak here in a little while to the group assembly, but I think for everybody, the thing to do for all the Scouts particularly is remember that what you've learned in scouting, while you probably didn't realize it was any more than trying to pass merit days. There are a lot of very useful skills that you learn. The character development aspect of it is very important. Just don't forget what you learned.
Dave, the Atlanta Area Council is proud to dedicate the 2013-2014 class of Eagle Scouts in your honor. And we'd like to present to you the Boy Scout McKenzie statue in recognition of your exceptional work in your career and in the community here in Metro Atlanta. Dave, thanks for all you do. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave McKenney.
Well, thank you, Faye and Tracy, and I will offer a special word of thanks to our sponsors who have helped make this day a great success. And also, congratulations to the parents of all you Eagle Scouts. I know quite a bit of dedication is required for the parents to help push the young men forward as well as the scout leaders. So congratulations to all of you. You may or may not have ever thought about this, but if you accept the definition of success that I do, which is the progressive realization of worthwhile goals, and then equate that to your path through scouting, where you have task after task to get each rank, and then merit badges to move from first class to star to life to eagle, you'll realize that that's exactly what you were doing. Progressive realization of worthwhile goals. Probably not a single thing that you achieved during that time is meaningless. I want to tell you a few little stories about how scouting affected leadership development on my part. it's really a lot about leadership, what you've been doing. I started out at age 11, just about exactly on my birthday, in Troop 54 in the First Methodist Church of East Point. The scoutmaster at the time was a tall, good-looking former Army paratrooper named Bob Brown. The senior patrol leader was also a big guy who later played varsity basketball and football at Georgia Tech. The troop was about 60 in number. If I remember right, we had 8 patrols. The place was loaded with Eagle Scouts, lots of merit badges, lots of advancement. It was a really top troop. They had not lost a district camporee in years and didn't intend to start. First night, they lined us all up and started teaching us how to drill, how to do right face and left face, stand at attention, keep our mouths shut, that kind of thing. And it didn't take too long for me to come to appreciate that you can get a whole lot more done with discipline. While I was in Troop 54, I advanced along the way, went to Camp Bird Adams every summer, picked up a lot of experience and merit badges, a lot of fun during those times. And by the way, that was when Bird Adams was where Cumberland Mall and the Vinings-Wilkinson Mountain area is now. I was assistant patrol leader for a while and then became patrol leader of the Eagle Patrol. It didn't take too long with all the rest of the Eagle Scouts that were in that troop to figure out that my goal of reaching senior patrol leader might take a long time and might actually never happen. There's so many sharp kids in the troop. Coincidentally, about that time, a new troop was started in Jefferson Avenue Baptist Church, which is where I went to church. And it had been struggling for a little while and was having trouble kind of getting off the ground. So I was asked to come join that troop as senior patrol leader. One of the things that I've learned over time is if you're going to be an effective leader, you have to engage the people who you're leading in something that they want to do. So what I found there was a bunch of fairly unruly kids, most of whom were friends and schoolmates of mine, or Sunday school mates of mine. But they were not particularly well led, and they weren't at all disciplined. So we started drilling. It worked. I challenged them with the task of upsetting Troop 54 from the district camporee award. Well, that really kind of got them excited, at least some of them. Those who, we had 4 patrols, as I recall, and only one of those patrol leaders thought it was even possible or worth trying, so we replaced the other 3 with some guys who believed. And we worked hard. We went camping almost every weekend for a while. We learned to march. We learned to pitch our tents on a straight road. We learned how to build campsite, cook stoves, and dig refrigerators and all that kind of stuff. And when camporee time came, we actually marched into camp. We set our camp up beautifully. And at the end of the camporee, we had won the camporee. During that time, I got my second palm and helped set advancement as something that troop would be focused on. You can kind of see how this might fit into the other things I did along the way. When I went to Georgia Tech, I was a Navy ROTC student and became a leader in that. Later on, after I graduated and was commissioned in the Marine Corps, I was at Quantico, Virginia. And the first Sunday I was there, a friend of mine and I went down, another lieutenant, went down to Fredericksburg to the First Baptist Church, and we were very warmly welcomed, and they asked a lot of questions, as they would. And they found out I was a member of scouting, and I was an Eagle Scout in particular. and kind of got me aside and said, we need your help. Our scoutmaster hasn't had a vacation in 3 years. His wife's about to leave him. And, you know, is it possible that you could help out? As it turned out, basic school at Quantico was more like a college. We went to class in the daytime. We pretty much had our evenings and weekends free, with exceptions of a bivouac that might last a week or something like that. So they met on Monday night, and I was free on Monday night, so I went the very next night to their meeting. And there were 30, 40 kids there raising Cain like nobody's business. I was afraid they were going to tear the church apart. The scoutmaster was frustrated. A lot of shouting, a lot of, trying to get people quiet and all that stuff, and nothing worked. So I just kind of stood there and watched and kept my mouth shut. After that scout meeting was finally over, I thought it never would end. Nothing really got done. I started asking the questions of the scoutmaster about what kind of, and by the way, they didn't wear uniforms, or most of them didn't. How many eagles do you have? None. Lives? None. Star? One, I think, if I remember right. Most of them were tenderfoot and second class scouts. And they were definitely second class. So I suggested to the scoutmaster, said, no, I'll be glad to stay and help you and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I've got a better idea. I know you're really worn out. I can see why. Why don't you just let me take this? And I'll take it off your hands for the summer, at the least, and we'll see what can be done. So he didn't come back the next week, but I showed up in my Marine Corps uniform. You could hear the scouts saying, oh, no. So the first thing that happened is I filled them in ranks, taught them how to stand at attention, keep their mouths shut, especially the ladder. Parade rest, right and left face, we drilled it that whole evening. After the end of that, I said, now, next week, come back in uniform. And when you get here, fall in. Next week came, they pretty much did that. We started talking about what's important about scouting. Well, what's important, obviously, is advancement, is leadership development, and it's achievement, and being proud of what you accomplish. I asked them if they had ever competed in the district camporee there, and they laughed kind of and said, oh, we don't stand a chance. We kind of go and hang out sometimes. And I said, okay, I tell you what, we're going to win the next one. What? Yeah, we're going to win the next one. I said, I'm going to make you guys a deal. Every scout in this troop is to go advance one rank between now and the end of the year. It's about 7 months. That was how long I was going to be at Quantico. Advance one rank, get a minimum of 3 merit badges, and we're going to win that camporee. And if you do that, I'll do that. I still had one palm I wanted to get, and the 18 age limitation wasn't in place yet. They just couldn't believe it. I said, I'm serious, and I tell you what, if we do this, and all of this, then I'll take you on the rifle range at Quantico and teach you how to shoot M1 rifles, survive M1. Whoa, did that get their attention? So we went to work. And instead of running around the church, most of the evenings at scout meeting, we had serious scout meetings. We talked about advancement. We did skill training. We started camping about every other week. Virginia is a wonderful place. It has all kind of good environment for that kind of stuff. But after scout meetings, we'd go out in the parking lot and I taught them how to play meaningful games instead of just the kind of stuff they've been doing, like capture the flag, building teamwork. Make a long story short, Troop 171 won that camporee. Every single boy in that troop got 3 merit badges, some got even more than 1 rank. And when I left there, they were proud of what they'd become. Well, that was when I was 21 years old. A number of years later, my son John, when he turned 11, decided, my assistants, to join Scout Troop in Sandy Springs, Troop 463. 463 was a big troop and a very successful troop. And the Scoutmaster at the time was a guy named Mac Russell, who had a previous tour as Scoutmaster when his older boy, or maybe 2, were Scouts, and then he got transferred out of town, and Bob Smallwood took the troop for a while, and most of you Scouters will probably know Bob. And then Mac came back to town, and Bob stepped back, and Mac Russell took over again for a while his younger son was there, and then he got transferred out again, and Bob came back. So when John came home from that first meeting, he said, "Dad, I think you're going to get a phone call." I said, "Oh, really? What's that about?" He said, "Well, Scoutmaster Russell asked questions about our dads. There were several new Scouts then, and when he found out that you were an Eagle Scout and a Marine, he said, 'What's your phone number, boy?'" So to make a long story short, I got to enjoy, as many fathers do, 5 years of being an assistant scoutmaster in that troop while John was progressing through the ranks to Eagle. It won't be a surprise to you, I was the assistant scoutmaster in charge of adventure and outdoor activities. And this was a backpacking troop. One of the things that was a requirement, basically, in that troop. If you're going to be in the troop, you've got to have hiking boots and a backpack. And every month we went backpacking, and most of us on the Appalachian Trail or someplace like that. It was a great experience. Those 4 glimpses of Scout experience and leadership development, mine and others through that experience, have had a lot of impact on my ability to be effective in leading people in the Marine Corps, in business, and then in other activities that I continue to be part of. So I want to close kind of by challenging you Eagle Scouts and anybody else that's interested to, as far as leadership goes, be open to opportunities. You know, there's an argument going back and forth about whether leaders are born or made, and I think basically they're made. It does take having the attitude to be willing to take on the challenge of being a leader. When given the opportunity, do your best. And part of that is treating everybody that you deal with the same kind of dignity and respect that you would like to be treated. Continue to live the Scout oath and law. That's a great pathway through life. There's an old saying, too, about leaders, is either lead, follow, or get out of the way. Not everybody's cut out to be a leader. If you're not, that's okay. Learn to be a good follower. Don't get in the way. And then finally, I want to tell you, when you're filling out your college applications or job applications in the future, be sure and list Eagle Scout on there. It's important. It'll pay off, and it will be something that you're proud of, and you'll be surprised how many people respond positively to even your break over somebody else that's not had that distinction, because you've stuck with something long enough to achieve a difficult task. Thank you very much. I enjoyed being here, and congratulations.